Are you getting anything, Mike? Hey friends, Mark Holmes here. I'm hoping that my stream is finally up. I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out what the hell happened, but for whatever reason, my computer's Wi-Fi is just got a little problem here, so I actually cannot see the screen up in here, and it would not start up the stream here. I guess it's kind of like the Dallas Cowboys right now because we're sucking and we can't seem to get working well either. So we actually got started here about 11 minutes late. I apologize and hopefully I didn't lose everybody, but for whatever reason, I just, I'm old and technology challenged. And guys, boy, it's been rough. It has been really, really rough. I have literally gone through the 5 stages of grief with our Dallas Cowboys. You know, Joe Boo needs a refill. In fact, let me put a little in my coffee here. And I think I'll just leave the whole bottle over here for Joe Boo because it's been that, that bad. Joe Boo, you get the whole bottle there, buddy. Um, I see it now. Yeah, well, I apologize. I'm just still trying to figure out what the heck is happening because I can't see any of the responses right now. I'm just not getting anything at all down here. Let me check here on my connection. All right, so I just want to know, how are you guys feeling right now? Because nobody can see me. Really? Okay. Let me I'm trying to get this pulled back up because I can't see me either at the moment because had a brain fart with my computer system. Live chat. Okay, so I don't see me either. So is nobody getting a streaming bad? Okay. How are we doing? Okay. Peak concurrence. Okay. Forgive me for a second here while I try and get this thing squared away. Um, see if we can get the picture right. Michael, are you getting anything? It's all good, Mark. Sound and picture's good. Okay. Well, I'm glad you've got it because I can't even see it my damn self here. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. Thank you. Finally. Perfect sound, perfect picture. What's going on today, guys? It's just been a butt ugly day. Life has just been stinking, and I just don't know what to say about our Dallas Cowboys. I have literally gone through all the stages of grief. I have been mad. I've been disgusted. I've tried to make deals with the football gods. Please, God, this can't be happening. I've gone through disbelief that I don't believe that this is really my Dallas Cowboys. I have literally gone through and just come to the realization that this season is what it is. It just sucks. Now, I put out a video earlier this evening, a couple hours ago, and I said at this point, we might as well just lose it all. Just have the season go completely bad. And the reason I say that is it's not because I'm a bandwagon fan, because, see, some people misunderstood what I said. When I said, at this point, we need to just lose everything, it's not because I hate the Cowboys. In fact, it's actually for the best. It's kind of like when you know you have a friend that's got a girlfriend that we all know is just not good for him. It's just not going right. And you know you have to show them exactly what's going on. That she's cheating. That she's taking him for his money. That she doesn't really care about him. That the relationship is going nowhere. Jerry Jones is still in disbelief, thinking that Jason Garrett is the guy. He still believes that he's a good coach, even though he admits that, well, he doesn't actually make all of the right calls and things, and he doesn't adjust right, but he's a good coach. Doesn't that sound like the guy who's talking about that girlfriend that you saw her over in the club the other night? Grinding all up on some other dude. And you try and say, man, look, she's no good, man. It's time to move on. That's Jerry Jones. No, but he's still a good coach, man. I like him. He's going to be okay. But what you have to do is he's got to see for himself, for real, that she's just no good. That it's not going to work. That it's literally at rock bottom, that you're better off on your own. So when I say we need to get beat up by the Redskins, by the Giants, we need to truly hit rock bottom and see that there's absolutely, positively nothing there. And for all you guys that still think that Jason Garrett is a good coach, remember, he's been head coach for 7 seasons, and we've got 2 winning records. 2. And playoff fails. Playoff fails. And at this point, to me, I'm not there in the locker room. I don't know. But to me, he looked like he's lost his team. If he hasn't lost the team, then he doesn't know how to coach. If you're telling me that we can't tackle better than that when you got 5 guys that are taking poor angles and just running around in circles, they were moving around like they were one of the old football games, like I had when I was a kid, where you turn the switch on and it shakes and the guy kind of just spins around. That's what our Dallas Cowboys defense looked like yesterday. You're telling me that these guys have been coached up to understand what's going on? These guys didn't even look motivated to know that the season was on the line, that this was do or die for playoffs. And the only person I saw fired up out there was Jalen Smith. And Jalen Smith, Jalen Smith had a great game, man. He got a bunch of tackles. You know what? It was 3rd down and 2 or 4th down and 2. And he got in the hole. He met him at the line of scrimmage and then got carried for 3 yards when they made the 1st down. But then he got up. Yeah, I made a great hit. Dude. We're getting our ass kicked out there. You just gave up the 1st down. I understand that the fact that you're even on the field is great. But, dude, come on. So what we have to do is we've got to break it down for Jerry Jones. We got to remind him about all of the great records that Jason Garrett's got. I mean, seriously. When he hired Jason Garrett, he knew he had a guy that was going to be breaking all kinds of records. Kind of like scoring 30 points at home back-to-back and losing. Yeah, that's a Jason Garrett record there. How about the biggest Dallas Cowboy fail ever when you were up 26-3 against the Green Bay Packers, and not Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers. We're talking about Matt Flynn. And your coach, the genius, that Princeton graduate, with a 26-3 lead, passed the ball more than the team trying to catch up to you. Fire Shots, shout out to you, man. I'm glad that you started a YouTube channel. I'll check you out sometime. Email me the link and all that, because I'm old and forgetful. I'll forget because stuff is flying by in here. And hats off to anybody out there who's putting themselves out here, because this is not easy. I'll be honest with you. I'm only scratching the surface of this, but, there's some pretty cruel people that are out there. So if I have any advice for you, be sure you have a thick skin, because you're going to have people out there who have no talent, no skill, and no drive to try and do this themselves, that will try and take you down because they know they can't do it. So when these people that come on here and tell you you suck and all that, just say, hey, you know what? I may suck, but you're watching me there, buddy. So hats off to you. And make sure you guys give all the support to all these great YouTubers that out here. There's Cowboys Nation, there's, Shango, there's Law Nation, all these guys putting in hard work, and YouTube is not trying to help them out. But anyway, I digress because I've been hit in the head too many times, and I've probably had too much to drink because Jerry Jones gets me drinking. And how about them Cowboys change his profile to fire Jason Garrett? I like that. But Jason Garrett, for everybody who still says that Jason Garrett is a great coach, that we need to give him another year, I want to go back because there's a lot of people in here who have always said that I'm a Tony Romo hater, and it's not that I hate Tony Romo. What I've said about Tony Romo is Tony Romo, you can't depend on anymore because he's just been hit too damn much. Too many times he's been knocked out, and I worry about his long-term health. I was talking to Wade earlier about that, and I was saying, look, it's never been, because he's like, man, we should have kept Tony Romo there for a couple more years. And I'm sorry, Tony Romo's body couldn't hold up for a couple more years. You cannot continue to break bones in your back and break your collarbone and think that when you get to be my age that you're going to still be able to walk. I don't know if any of you guys are watching the live stream, but when I actually had to get up, you guys say, oh, he's just fat and can't get up. No, I've had 5 knee operations. I have no ACL in my knee, and I've got bone on bone. It looks like they're fused together. I've got slip disc in my back, and I take pain pills like Chiclets because that's what football does to your body. And I never played professional football. So I'm sitting here thinking in my mind, Tony Romo's got broken bones in his back and collarbones. Dude is going to be screwed up by the time he's 45. So I'm happy that he's got another career, but he just could not do it any longer. And that's why I said it was past time for Tony Romo. But unfortunately, Dak Prescott is getting Tony Romo'd right now. Thank you very much, Billy. Been worrying all day about these Eagle trolls. Nice to finally tune in and hear some Hey. I don't know if any of you guys have ever, like I said, Jerry Jones, it's like he's in a bad relationship with a woman that's just cheating on him or just is no good. But if you've ever had to help somebody who's an alcoholic or a drug addict or has some kind of addiction, what you have to understand is, oh shit, I just lost connection. What you have to understand is, I'm just having a hard time tonight. Damn. Come on, Meebo. Sorry, guys, had a little interruption there. Sound is low, Mark. Well, I wasn't talking too much. Lost the volume. Sound is gone. You're good. Fix the mic. Jerry has to go as well. Give it a second, and it'll come back up. My audio just went to shit. When will Lee come back? We got a lot of people in here. Sorry. Volume. I'm showing that I've got plenty of volume here. The audio checked out. That's it. Okay, Mike. Okay. Sorry. For whatever reason, my Wi-Fi is just having a hard time tonight. It must be AT&T or something, just like our Dallas Cowboys. But if you've ever worked with somebody who's had an addiction, somebody who you want to help, you can't help them until they want help, until they actually hit rock bottom and affect change. The person who does too many drugs, they end up being in the hospital with no shoes on, having hallucinations, and don't know how they got there. Until we get Jerry Jones to that point, it's not going to change anything. And the problem is let's say somehow that 7.2% chance of making the playoffs, we make the playoffs. Jerry Jones will be so ecstatic. The fans will be so happy. They'll say, look at Jason Garrett. He took the team that was in the toilet and he got them back to the playoffs. We can't have this happen anymore. We have wasted great players like Tony Romo. You know, DeMarcus Ware had to leave and go someplace else to get a ring, and that's a travesty. And now you got Dak Prescott getting Tony Romo'd. Because here's the thing that you got to understand. Take a look at some of the things that go on. Guys don't get developed here in Dallas. They don't get better. They come in as a rookie like Anthony Brown. They play good, and then they digress. Jason Garrett has never in his career coached up a quarterback. Let me say that again with feelings, because Tony Romo was already starter when he got here. Tony Romo was taught by Sean Payton. Everybody else that has been in the system either came here like John Kitna with some skills or were drafted and brought in and never did anything. Jason Witten is another example of that. Jason Witten was already a player before Jason Garrett got here. And take a look at all the tight ends that have been here that have never been developed. Or take a look at players that were here that couldn't bust a grape with the Dallas Cowboys, yet they go other places and do well. Claiborne was here. Never wowed you. Always played there all the time. Now he's getting interceptions left and right with the Ravens. Adam Jones, couldn't do much with him, but hey, he's still flourishing. Terrence Newman, 39 years old, still playing. So when you get players like Anthony Brown, what Anthony Brown did last year, you should be looking at him saying that dude's going to take off the next year. Yet, he's digressed. Dak Prescott got here with the tools that he played with last year. You can't say that it was Jason Garrett's fingerprint on Dak Prescott last year. Dak Prescott got no work in OTAs. And until the last couple of weeks of training camp, he still wasn't, because he was the third-string quarterback. So if you are a offensive coordinator originally and then head coach, and you've got a guy that has tools that already had a proven record last year, how come he's digressed his second year under you? People will say, but you got injuries, man. You don't have Zeke Elliott. You didn't have Tyron Smith. Well, we had Tyron yesterday. Didn't help a whole lot. But other teams seem to be doing okay with injuries. Minnesota's on their third quarterback. The Washington Redskins lost their whole offensive line, and right now we have the same record, but I got to tell you, the Redskins are thinking about playoffs. We're looking at being in the basement. And right now, I'm not sure we can beat the Giants. So why is it that with Jason Garrett, if he's got all of the pieces there and everybody's healthy and everything's perfect, that's the only time he's expected to win? Football is about adjustments. And this guy can't adjust. We've been outscored the second half 76-6. Another record. Another record for Jason Garrett, because in all of the years of the Dallas Cowboys since 1960, we have never had a team that failed to score a touchdown in 10 straight quarters. And I'm talking even 1-15 team. That season, Jason Garrett has got all the records, all the bad ones, all the ones that you don't want to have. I don't know of any other coach out there that's ever iced his own kicker, do you? If it's Jerry Jones, who's the puppet master, if it's Jerry Jones whose ego is just so big, I got to tell you, Jerry, I know you didn't like sharing the limelight with Jimmy Johnson. Standing up there holding that Super Bowl trophy with Jimmy Johnson and all that, that just must have been terrible to have to give him some credit. It is so much better that you don't have to deal and have that picture anymore, isn't it? Of you standing up there holding a Super Bowl trophy and having to give some credit to somebody else. I am glad you don't have to deal with that piece of crap anymore, do you? This is so much better that we can talk about the Dallas Cowboys being a fail, being a laughingstock, being a joke. Because you've done it your way for 20 plus years, and all we have is nada. We're the Eagles, basically, of the last 22 years. Can't win a ring. We make fun of other teams like Cleveland. You know? But here we are. Now, as we continue to break down this Jason Garrett hate fest, I want you to think about another interesting stat here, because I love it. I remember last year, or excuse me, 2 years ago, after the 4-12 season, and I was saying Jason Garrett needs to go. I even said after the Green Bay Packers catch no catch game that Jason Garrett needs to go, and people said, "You're crazy, man. We were just in the playoffs. We were just in the playoffs, man. We almost beat Green Bay." And I said, listen, it was 4th and 1. You have a great running back. You have a great offensive line. And you're going deep? Oh, no. But that wasn't Jason Garrett. That was Tony Romo who changed the play. Okay. But if you're the head coach, you need to be in the guy's ear and say, "Hey, Tony, listen up, buddy. Don't change the play. We want to get a first down here. We want to eat some clock. And we want to go down the field methodically." Because even if we got that catch, Aaron Rodgers would have went right down the field and won. And I said, that's coaching, guys. And especially after all the 8-8, 8-8, 8-8, 8-8 years. Those were playoff games, guys. Those were games that if you won, you're in the playoffs. A single elimination game. Crap sandwich on each of those. And since he has actually been head coach for a full season of 2011, what's interesting is, if you take all the coaches that have been there at least since 2011, just like Jason Garrett, there's 9 of them that are still in the NFL. Because typically what happens is, if you don't win in 5 years, your ass is out. Let me say it again. If you don't win within 5 years, your ass is out. Because of the 9 coaches out there that have been here as long as Jason Garrett or longer, 6 of them have won Super Bowls. Let me say that again. In the time that Jason Garrett has been a coach, every coach that's been a coach as long as him, 7 of the 9 have won Super Bowls. The only other one that's out there that hasn't is Marvin Lewis. And Marvin Lewis isn't getting fired because Cincinnati was crap before he got there, and their owner's too cheap to get rid of him. I still don't know why Marvin Lewis has a job. So I'm trying to understand, Jerry Jones, what is it that makes Jason Garrett a good coach? Players like him, or it just kisses your ass? Because I thought what it's about is winning the Super Bowl. If it's about, and as I put in a video earlier, Jerry, if it's just about you and your ego, because, here's what we were looking at halftime show against the Eagles. You paraded out all of the past Super Bowl teams. We had Roger down there. We had Emmitt Smith and all. We had all of that stuff. All of that great stuff that is in the past. And then we heard your great speech at halftime and all that, basically defiant with the commissioner with your ring on and all that. We're holding these little, let me go ahead and show you this real quick here. Here we are holding these little lights here for Jerry. to wave him at halftime. The halftime show was Jerry Jones. He had the whole floor of the stadium there, defiant against the commissioner. So, Jerry, what is it about? We as fans, without us fans, Jerry, let me go back to that tight shot here. Jerry, I want to talk to you, buddy. We know you were rich before you bought the Dallas Cowboys, but we've made you a whole lot richer. We love the Dallas Cowboys. I literally talk about the Dallas Cowboys every single day of my life. I am constantly scanning the wires for any news, tad bits, anything. Oh, somebody got a hangnail. Let me talk about it. Got a hangnail here. I've got a couple of stones there at the stadium. You know, not the 4x8s or not the 4x8s. I got the 8x8s, the bigger ones. Not one but two. I know I don't really own that, but that feels like that's my part of the team. It's my little bit, my little part of that ownership of the Dallas Cowboys. I feel invested in them because Lord knows when they lose, I feel like something died inside of me. My gallbladder's gone. My spleen's ripped out. My liver, half of that's gone. Well, actually, with all the rum, probably all of it's gone. We give and give everything. I try and bring more people to the fold here with the Joe Boo Sports Report, doing tailgate. In my mind, I am planning on building a mobile man cave just so I can drive my ass to the Palace in Dallas and have big ass parties there to help try and spread some mojo. So, Jerry, if we're invested, and I know it's nothing compared to the amount of money you've put out there. I mean, hell, the helicopter fixings that go in there probably are more than what I spend. But still, to me, it's a lot of money. Is it about winning? Or is it just about you? Because as long as we keep getting served Jason Garrett, it's not going to happen. Jason Garrett is Marvin Lewis. You always want the best of everything. You made the best stadium out there. Why not fill it with the best coach? You've tried it your way for 20 some years because your ego says that I can do it. Well, guess what? You haven't been able to do it. It's a joke. It's time to let people who know football handle it. Because in the end, the CEO of a company doesn't have to know how the sausage is made. His job is to make sure he's got the best guy there to make the damn sausage. Make sure it gets delivered. You take all the credit for putting the man who does the job there. This shit of you controlling it is too much. Focus in on the Palace in Dallas. Focus in on making that money because you're doing a great job with that. But we have got to get a football person in here. Somebody who's going to motivate these guys because these guys have given up on Jason Garrett. They have. Flat out. The effort that they put out on that field says, I don't give a F. Jason Garrett has been here so long. There's so much tape out here. He does not have anything that's going to wow you. Everybody knows how to play against him. There's no innovation there. You look at a coach like Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is always, every game, going to throw a different wrinkle at you that you've never seen before. He's going to be worth a couple of big plays just because of his ingenuity. Other coaches can lose their quarterback, like Bill Belichick can lose Tom Brady for 4 games and win 3 of them. Other coaches, like Bill Belichick, can lose Tom Brady for a season and have a Matt Castle go to the playoffs. But for whatever reason, Jason Garrett's not held accountable. So, Jerry, we deserve better than this, buddy. You deserve better than this. Because you may be rich. You may have the most valuable franchise in the world, but the world is laughing at us right now. Let me thank everybody who's been in here. I apologize. I've had a few technical difficulties. Sleepy Dave, you might not be far off on that one with Jason Garrett. I keep wondering, is it something that Jason Garrett has on Jerry Jones? Because it's just crazy the fact that no matter what, Jerry's still saying he's a good coach. I just don't understand it. And back to my original point where I was saying that at this point we need to make sure that this season is so atrocious that Jerry just says, damn. And you would think 4 losses at home in that palace in Dallas would be enough already. But apparently it's not, because he's still talking about that. Oh, I haven't thought about a coaching change. Now, it could be that he's just keeping that close to his vest in his mind, that he's thinking Jason Garrett's got to go. And I'm hoping that that's the case. Because he did do the dreaded vote of confidence. And generally speaking, when a person gets a vote of confidence, they're gone real quick. Hey, Jackie, how are you doing tonight? You know what? A lot of people are putting us all and saying that Dak Prescott sucks. He can't do anything. Well, you know what? Dak Prescott wasn't on a defense that gave up 434 yards there. And I'm not saying that Dak Prescott didn't miss some passes, because he did. But I got to tell you, we have some real problems on this team. And when we start looking at things, we have a lot of stuff we have to address. One of them is going to be Dez Bryant. Because the problem is we have a lot of big contracts that are top heavy. Tony Romo was one of the big ones that we got rid of. But Dez Bryant is $17.5 million this year, and it's $16.5 million next year. Well, I got to tell you, Dez Bryant's not playing like a number one receiver. Right now, Dez Bryant looks really, really bad. Dez Bryant can't get separation anymore. Can't seem to catch the ball with any regularity. And you look at the other guys, because he's not able to stretch the field and take double coverage, because basically you don't even have to put your number one guy on him anymore. You don't need a shutdown corner on Dez anymore. Any bum off the street just about is doing it. Because he's not getting any attention and he can't get deep anymore because of injuries that he's had, between the knee and the ankle and stuff like that, all of a sudden that shrinks the field. And with the offensive line not being able to block like they did before, because see, here's what's happened. The difference is, last year with Zeke Elliott, the offensive line was run first and they were mauling people. People were trying to do more of a read and react defense, sitting back trying to hold their ground. What teams have learned to do is penetrate, shoot the gap, do run blitzes, get people in the backfield. Because Zeke Elliott, if he has to make a move in the backfield, isn't as effective as he is if he can get a head of steam on him. If he's got some daylight, and can get upfield 2 or 3 yards, he's going to pick up a whole lot of yardage. But if you can get people in the backfield, one, that offensive line of the Cowboys isn't as good pass blocking. If you've got speed to get upfield, you're going to slow it down. And that's what teams are doing. And right now, since Dez Bryant can't get open deep, since they're run blitzing, they're putting more pressure on the quarterback, so he's having to run around and move around, and your other receivers are not getting separation. So you're having to throw in these tight windows. The only person I saw that was wide open on one pass where Dak Prescott threw an interception was Jason Witten in the end zone. But it's not like it's an everyday thing where guys are just wide open anymore. We are not getting guys open. Now, as far as the running game goes, you haven't lost that much production of Zeke Elliott being gone. We just didn't stick to the run long enough. In fact, Zeke Elliott's only averaged 4.1 yards a carry this season, and I believe we averaged 4.2 or 4.3 in that game yesterday. So don't say it was all Zeke Elliott was the reason why. It was the play calling. We kept trying to go to the well, kept trying to pass, we kept trying to go all these short passes, and we shortened up the field, made it more difficult for the quarterback. So, Jag, part of that is the coaching, part of that is the schemes that they're trying to run, and part of that's guys just aren't open. So, yes, Dak Prescott, five what?
Ezekiel always said we only run 5 running plays
Yeah.
to change up the look of it.
Right. As Zeke Elliott puts it, we basically have 5 running plays, and all we do is we change the formation. So I go back to there's very little innovation, and people have figured out the Cowboys. And that goes back to coaching. Flat out. And if you don't believe that, well, got to tell you, you don't know much about football. Take a look around the quarterbacks in the NFL. There's not a whole lot of really good ones. There really aren't. And as you guys keep saying, Cooper Rush, Cooper Rush. Okay, I got to tell you, Cooper Rush out there against that rush will piss down his leg. Sorry. I know the most popular person on any team is always the backup quarterback. You know, because I remember when people were screaming for Kellen Moore every time, you know, Tony Romo have a bad game. Oh, let's get Kellen Moore out there. Yeah, well, we see what happened with Kellen Moore, didn't we? If you think that Cooper Rush is ready to be an NFL quarterback and is going to do better than what Dak is, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you because that guy is so far away from being ready to start in the NFL. It's not even funny. Okay? And you guys can doubt Dak Prescott all you want. I know he has won everywhere he's been. He's had a couple of bad games, but I look at the whole team that's had bad games and a team that is not coached well. Take a look at conditioning. Does it seem like these guys run out of gas in the second half? Look at the amount of hamstring injuries. Common sense will tell you that we suffer, for whatever reason, seem to have more hamstring injuries than anybody else. Maybe we need to do a little more stretching. Maybe we need to do a little more icing after practice. Maybe we need to do something. We need to evaluate what we're doing here so we don't have these guys missing all of training camp. Maybe we need to try and change up our defense a little bit. Instead of giving guys 8-yard cushions that are getting off the line of scrimmage and going right to the route with a full head of steam and burning us down the field, maybe we need to try and give them a chuck at the line of scrimmage. Make a channel. It's all good folks will watch. I wasn't giving anybody a blessing. I'm just giving people props for trying to putting themselves out there. This is not easy. Without a doubt, this is not easy. And I know the first time I did the Benet Emery show, my voice kind of did like this. And when you start getting some of the comments you get from people, and you know, you put out a video out there and you get 3 people that watch it, it's just like, why am I doing this? Nobody's watching. It can be rough and it can hurt as you're doing it. So it wasn't about me giving a blessing. I was giving the person props for doing it because it's not easy. And believe me, I am by no way made it out here in this. I mean, yeah, I've got a bunch of you guys here, but this is nothing. This is peanuts. You know, I'll let you know when I get to be like my daughter. You know, somebody's got, you know, hundreds of thousands of people watching. You know, that's when you can say you've made it. So I still have a hell of a lot to learn. I am just a guy out here who enjoys talking about football and just loves the Dallas Cowboys and want to do anything I can to try and put it out there. Maybe somebody will get to Jerry Jones and say, you know what, maybe you might want to listen to some of these fans out here that are really, really bad. Yes, I took an L on the Clint Eastwood video. Yes, I did. I've taken an L on quite a few things, but you know what? I am still a proud Dallas Cowboy fan. My Dallas Cowboy flag is still flying in front of my house outside of Washington, D.C., and I am still here every day talking about my Dallas Cowboys. So yeah, I will take a L. But I'm man enough to come in here on a regular. I don't see too many Giants fans other than Chlorine Bleach in here on a regular the way their team has been playing. So take it as you will. And if you don't like what I'm doing, you want to say I'm a loser, hey, why are you watching? If I'm a loser, what does that make you watching? I can't, you got the answers. I can't argue with that the Dallas Cowboys are mediocre. They truly are. Roger Goodell, well, that goes back to another thing here. Um, with Jerry Jones and his ego going after the NFL, I look at some of the calls from referees, and I swear, I keep seeing holding on other teams. I keep seeing face masks on the other teams that just don't seem to be getting called. And it seems like every time we get something going, seems like there's always a little yellow laundry on the field. Has anybody else noticed that? I swear that it's the NFL is trying to make sure, you know what, Jerry? We're trying to put you in your place. And it seems like we keep playing teams coming off of bye weeks. I mean, the Eagles had their bye week before they played us. Green Bay played on a Thursday night before they played us. We played on a Monday night and then played the Rams, who played on a Thursday night. I'm not saying that gives you credit for losing. I'm just pointing out facts that we've had a tough road to hoe this year. Now, that doesn't change the fact that Jason Garrett, the good coaches Jerry Jones would say, has lost to 3 rookie coaches. Dallas Cowboys, I said, what do you want me to say? I said Dak Prescott had a terrible game along with everybody else on that field. Dak Prescott missed some wide open receivers. He threw a couple passes that were high. He threw a couple passes that just were bad passes. He made a couple of bad decisions. What is it that you are looking for me to say about Dak Prescott? Because he had a bad game, just like a lot of people have bad games. Take a look at Tony Romo's, and I can guarantee you, Tony Romo had some bad games. As well as say, Tom Brady's had some bad games. There's a lot of quarterbacks that have a bad game or 2 or 3 and get into some slumps. It's not the whole body of work, though, there, buddy. And when the rest of the team is not doing jack, and when your quarterback gets sacked 14 times in 3 games, gets hit over 25 times, you're not going to exactly do a whole lot. Last 3 games, I've admitted that the team has sucked the last 3 games. And I can tell you, Tony Romo has had horrible games. Go back to the 2014 season. 2014 season opening game against San Francisco. Tony Romo threw 3 picks and couldn't get the ball 30 yards downfield. It happens. Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed the Clint Eastwood video. That was actually inspired by Wade. Wade was one of those people that was instrumental in getting me to Dallas for the tailgate. And he ended up giving me, it's actually over there, a poncho. And I thought it would be really cool to get the hat and do I thought it would be fun to kind of do that. But here we are, okay. We've hopefully buried Jason Garrett. For somehow, some way, I hate to think that we're going to be dealing with that guy again next year. But knowing Jerry Jones, we may be dealing with that guy next year. But this is hate week number 2 with the Washington Redskins. They'll be coming to Dallas, a place where we have lost 4 games already this year. And we got a Jason G in here. Okay. Yeah, well, Jason, you know what? Maybe you should, instead of throwing the football around in warm-ups with the team, maybe you ought to be looking at, I don't know, some play calling and coming up with some different plays or some tendencies, or maybe scouting the other team. I hate that guy. Gotta hate that guy. We play the Washington Redskins next Thursday night. The Redskins are feeling themselves right now. They beat the Giants. They had some quality wins. They're beat up, but they don't act like they are. They're actually thinking about playoffs. So the question in my mind is, do we want to win that game? We've got a lot of holes we're going to need to fill. We need a true number one wide receiver. We need a swing offensive lineman. Tyron Smith, when he's healthy, is the best out there. But you have to start getting worried because of the nagging injuries he's had now for 2 seasons, and hope that it's something that can get fixed in the offseason, kind of like DeMarcus Lawrence, because we need that guy. We need a number one receiver, like I said, because Dez is not getting open. We're not sure what's going to happen with. We're not sure what's going to happen with Rico Gathers. You're definitely going to need another tight end. Well, okay, again, Michael, I know he's your guy, but, you know, one hit in camp and he's got a concussion that knocked him onto injured reserve.
But right now, there is a top one.
Okay. All right. Okay. Be that as it may, you still need somebody to take the place of Jason Witten coming up sometime soon. We definitely need linebackers. Sean Lee, again, another guy when he's healthy is great. But you can't lose one guy and have your team all fall apart. Because what we do is we pay a whole lot of, check the audio, okay. We pay a whole lot of guys a lot of money, but then, static too. Sorry, whenever you talk too loud, sorry, it'll actually beep out, sorry. So let me calm down just a little bit here. What's wrong with the sound? Are you listening to it, Mike? Can you check and see if it sounds bad? I think it's just going red. If it goes red, okay. Sorry, if I get too excited and get too loud, then it ends up going crazy. So forgive me on that. Mike static. Not sure why you're getting static. It's reading fine actually over here, but I'll have to check it. We're almost done with the live stream anyway. You may still need some more cornerbacks. I think you need a safety that is a headhunter, and we've got to get these players. So we can win a few moral victories here, or we can look at next year, because in the end, what it's all about is winning Super Bowls. And if we end up somehow, some way making the playoffs and don't do anything, well, that's worse draft position. That's a tougher schedule. And it could possibly be Jason Garrett. I apologize, guys. Let me just check this real quick here. Not sure why we're getting staticky. Sounds okay from this point. So I'll check on it, guys. I apologize. You know, I'm getting old and technology challenged, so could be one of the plugs is not all the way in or something. But static is bad. But I'm not hearing it in the feedback in the phone here. Well, we've got a lot of work to do, and since I'm getting the static and stuff out of here, I'll go ahead and end this because it is actually 10 o'clock. It's been a long week, and I got to tell you, I am ready to sleep my ass in tomorrow. It's been a long time since I've had more than 5 hours or so sleep. Better. Oh, it's good now. Okay. All right. We'll go on bonus time since it's better now. To plug my we need Golden Tate. Oh, no, I don't. Golden Tate's getting old now. It's fine now. Week 17, redhead versus redhead. It's good now. You can hear me fine. Couldn't tell you what the hell happened on that one, but here, let me drink some coffee on that one because I need a drink. Joey Bosa's locked up for the next 3 years. You can't get Joey Bosa.
That's the way to pick him up.
You can't pick. How are you going to pick up Joey
I'm talking
Bosa?
about in the draft.
It's too late to pick up Joey. What are you talking about, Michael? Joey Bosa's already been drafted.
I said, what if we picked up him in the draft? draft.
It doesn't matter. If cans and butts were nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. Thinking about what we should have drafted or who we should have drafted that we can't draft now doesn't mean anything. Can't deal with the past. You can only deal with this moment forward. And the thing we got to focus on is this year's draft and who we can get on the team, as well as what about Richard Sherman? You ain't got answers. That ain't the right question because Richard Sherman just tore his Achilles tendon. Okay, he's not going to probably be ready for the beginning of next year, and he's getting older. Had we brought him in earlier in the year, like I had said, then yes, that might have been a good idea. But right now, yeah, he's damaged goods. He's got a torn Achilles tendon. It's a year-long injury. Joe Doe, I'll be honest with you. My Thanksgiving wasn't ruined. I wasn't happy about the game, but I know I had fun with my family. I had fun talking with you guys. The game sucked. Hated seeing us lose, but I know as long as I've got friends like Joseph Hartley out there, that we can commemorate. We can talk and deal with the damn loss of the game. I'm good. I'm okay. It didn't kill me. It wasn't like I was on suicide watch. I wasn't about to jump off the bridge or anything like that. I live and die with the Dallas Cowboys, but it's not going to break me. Because if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, by definition, lately with Jerry Jones, you got to understand you're going to be putting up with some bullshit. He's going to do some things that just make you go, what the F? And as long as we have Jason Garrett, expect the worst. We had gotten away from, in my mind, the whole thing of every time we had a lead, how are we going to lose this game? But that's beginning to come back now. Every first half of the games, okay, how bad is it going to be the second half? Because you guys realize that Jason Garrett, 72-6 being outscored the last couple of games. But in games where Jason Garrett has had a 3-point or less lead, 17 times he's gone at halftime with a 3-point lead or less. And has only won 7 of those. Think about that for a minute. If you still believe that Jason Garrett is a good coach, I don't know what to tell you. He's not. We've talked about him getting his kind of guys, the right kind of guys. Yet, we still end up having suspensions left and right. We still have guys drunk driving out there. We still have guys pulling out guns on people. So, that's a fail. Finish the fight. Oh, yeah. Good one there, buddy. Good one there. Finish the fight. Yeah, 72-6. 72-6. Yeah, that's finishing the fight there. Next man up. Do I have to go there on that one? Next man up? Because we looked what the next man up from Tyron Smith was a couple weeks ago, didn't we? Chaz Green. Oh, shit. 6 sacks he gave up, I believe. Next man up for Sean Lee. Lose one guy and you go from giving up 81 yards rushing to 181 yards. Yeah, next man up. That's a fail. Recommit. That's the latest one. Recommit. The only thing that needs to be committed right now is Jerry Jones for keeping Jason Garrett. He needs to be committed. Because this shit's crazy. I truly feel like the team is just, it's a paycheck. I still believe that some of the players still have some bad feelings, some animosity to Jerry Jones about the anthem protests. Some bad feelings there. I believe the distractions of Zeke Elliott has played a major factor in the season. The season is just, I'll actually say a potted meat sandwich instead of a ham sandwich on that one. Yeah, Brian, 22 points from 3 games from a former offensive coordinator. Yeah, Coach slow clap. Although I haven't seen him clapping much lately. What do we rebuild first? Well, here's the thing. You need a swing offensive lineman, a guy that you can plug in anywhere without a doubt. You need a wide receiver that's a game changer. Des Bryant, I'm sorry, needs to be a June 1st cut because then at least you save $12.5 million. You need some other linebackers. Jalen Smith right now is a liability. I know every time he makes a tackle, somebody sends me a text message and says, "See, I told you, Jalen Smith, he's a baller." Yeah, he made a tackle, but it might have been he got carried 5 yards downfield. He's not a linebacker that's going to be able to come there with force right now. Hopefully he'll get there and can take over a game like a Sean Lee. Sorry. Until that foot is 100%, he's going to be a liability. He cannot pass cover. You need a safety. You need a real safety. I know everybody will say, but did you see that hit by Jeff Heath? Yeah, okay, he got one good hit. Yes, he got one interception. But it doesn't make up for the other 40 plays that he was out there chasing people around and giving up big plays. You need a ball-hawking safety out there that is going to knock the shit, excuse my language, out of some people out there. You need a coach that can motivate guys, because watching the team yesterday was like watching a funeral. I didn't see any passion or any fire from anybody out there. I didn't see anybody upset that they're getting their ass handed to them. I didn't see anybody out there trying to figure that I am fighting for my season. I just saw a bunch of guys there like, yeah, we're here. Oh well, we're losing. I'd be pissed off as hell. I would be kicking somebody's ass. I mean, even Des Bryant is just kind of like, whatever. That's signs that you've lost a team. We definitely could use a Bill Bates again, Joe. What about Woods? Woods hasn't gotten there yet. He needs some more time. And again, Marcus, you are 100% right. Who would want to coach under Jerry Jones? And that's where Jerry Jones has to have a come to Jesus moment and realize, I'm just not doing it. Christian, by choice, I think it needs to be a whole new game. I think you just go ahead and say bye-bye to everybody and start over. And you need to bring in a coach and let him pick his coordinators. Pick the guys he wants to work with. Because if you don't, you do this whole thing of, we're going to pick this coach, we're going to pick that. No. Jerry, you got to step the hat back off. You got rookie coaches. Rookie coaches. Think about that. The Rams were 4-12 with the good old Jeff Fisher, who was, a respected coach, had been to a Super Bowl, couldn't get the Rams to bust a grape. But here you have a rookie coach turn the team around with the same team. The Chargers coach, you realize he's a rookie coach too, right? He came to your house and kicked your ass. Your coach, who's supposed to be such a good coach, a motivator, an offensive genius. Come on, man. Come on, man. Denver's coach. They look like world beaters against our Cowboys. All three rookie coaches kicking our ass. I'm not sure about Nick Saban. Nick Saban is not a pro. I mean, we saw what he did in Miami. He basically quit on the team. Yeah, we had a chance at a couple of interceptions there yesterday. But again, the Palace in Dallas, with the good old sun coming through there. And don't get me started on the stadium in Dallas. Again, that's another one of those problems that we have with our team. I've had a couple of you guys ask me, it's like, what is it like being at Texas Stadium? Or excuse me, AT&T. Do we have a home field advantage? Well, I got to tell you, there's no better place to watch a game. When you see that jumbo TV up there, you forget about there's a game going on down on the field. It's like that's in low def. You want to see that screen. The players are looking up to themselves in that screen. Fans of other teams say, shit, we want to go there and see our team play in that place. That's why you have so many fans of other teams that are there, negating the crowd from Dallas. And that stadium, there's so many clubs, there's so much artwork, there's dancing people in cages. You got the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. You could go hang out in one of those clubs and have a 5-star meal. All of these things that are going on, but guess what? Thank you, Teal, for being a new subscriber. But guess what? When you get down to those lower seats, I would love to watch a game down there. I would love to get down there with a big old sign and try and scare the piss out of the other people. You can't afford that. A couple of grand for those seats. And those seats are part of the dugout boxes. Yeah. Let me say that again. You have all of those, you've never been there, you have ground level suites. So you're actually like a dugout, so you're at knee high. And all the people that are down there, they have the front row seats as well. And what ends up happening is, you've got that great suite down there, you've got your liquor that's up in there, you've got food that's being delivered, you are a corporation, you're a company, you've got your friends up in there, you're watching the game on the TV in there with all your friends. But that means that first row, nobody's sitting in those seats. The rabid fans like me, like you guys out there that want to get out there and make a whole bunch of noise, we're up in the nosebleed seats, paying a fortune even for those. So there is no real loud sound. As much as they have the guys dressed up in the cowboy hats and stuff saying, let's go, and they're pumping 94 decibels, I'm kind of like, I don't hear nothing. I don't hear anybody making any noise. There's no sound that's interfering with the other team. You never in your life see a quarterback have to take a timeout because it's too loud in Dallas. So yeah, it's a great stadium. It's a destination. It's the 8th wonder of the world. But I know when I go to Seattle, by the time I leave that place, I feel like I've had 10 gallons of coffee. I feel jittery. I feel like I've been inside a jet engine. I feel scared of those fans. Blooming highlights, those standing seats are so far up, it doesn't make a difference. People go to Dallas to be seen. It's not like Steve H. Listen, I have been to a lot of stadiums in my life. And I got to tell you, Dallas is one of the quietest ones. And you go to other stadiums that don't have. Steve H., a friend of mine told me, wear earplugs. And I wish I had because it literally was that loud. I was standing next to my wife and I am literally screaming in her ear and she can't hear me standing right next to me. That's how loud that place literally was. You go to other venues and stuff, you don't have all these great restaurants and distractions and all that. The fans are there to watch the game. The tickets are affordable that you can get down low and scare the other team. Go to Philadelphia. Scare the piss out of you. If you're a football player, you're sitting there worried about somebody going to jump out of the stands and try and kick my ass. That's an advantage we don't have. Hence, we've lost 4 games there this year. Like I said, I love going there. But that stadium's not helping us to win. Oh, yeah. Well, the Chargers. Yeah, you're right about that. But here's the thing. Chargers got no support. But guess what? They're in the playoff chase. Seattle, Seattle's weird. It could be all the coffee. Lieutenant Mathers, what's kind of cool is on this channel that we actually have fans from a lot of teams and stuff. Lieutenant Mathers is an Eagle fan. He's one of the good ones. Excuse me. Um, he says, I'm sure Mark appreciates all the views and likes. If anything, the best way to troll would be not to come here and subscribe, view, like, and comment. This is true. I mean, in the end, all YouTube is about views, comments, likes, and all that. So all the trolls that come in here are actually helping out the channel. So shout out to all the trolls. And like I always say, that I am one that's going to talk. If I talk the talk, I'm going to walk the walk. If I'm going to tell you something that's going to happen, if I'm wrong, I'm going to be the first one to admit, dude, I'm wrong. Dak ain't going nowhere, dude. Not with Jason Garrett as coach. Who are we going to draft? Well, that's going to be a good question. The question is going to be is Jason Garrett a dead man walking? And you have to look at what kind of coach you're bringing in and what philosophy they're going to have. You have some guys that are more defensive, oriented. And quite frankly, what Jerry Jones has always been about is the superstars, the Dez Bryants and things like that. And defense is kind of like an afterthought. This past year was the first year we actually focused in on defense. And I believe we need to be focusing in on defense as well, too. But what we really need to do is you've got to change your philosophy a lot. Because the problem is, when you make a mega contract like a Dez Bryant's, it ties you into that player. It takes away from being able to put other guys in backup roles. You may have great frontline people, but you don't have money to spend on the others. Okay? For a while there, we had 8 guys was like $90 million of our cap. So that means the rest of the team was like $65 million. That's not a lot for the rest of the team. And that's why your defense, generally speaking, is only in the $30 million range of salaries. What a team like New England does, and the reason why they're able to be good year after year, is they value the draft in young players. The only constant is Tom Brady. You get guys that are pretty good. If I can make a deal and get some good draft picks in return for a guy, I'll do that because I've got some picks where I can fill in places. New England, generally speaking, has got 8, 10, 12 draft picks a year. They will trade and move those around and try and create more picks. Because they're knowing that you're better off with a strength in numbers. The draft is a crapshoot. You want to have as many picks as possible because you've got better chances of getting more guys that can contribute. That's why New England can lose a Julian Edelman or lose a Gronk and not skip a beat. Because they are good from 1 to 53. They have guys that can step in a role. We are only good with our starters. Once you get off those starters, all of a sudden the guys that you're filling in aren't too good. And that's where we have to change and stop looking at, we got a mega deal. Dez Bryant's been great. He's, a true number one. Dez Bryant's getting old and getting injured. That's $16.5 million. How many valuable players can you bring in to replace that contract? Quite a few. Skandrick, unfortunately, may be one of those ones that's going to be a cap casualty next year. Tyrone Crawford might be. You have some guys that aren't quite pulling the rope with what they're being paid, and you have to start looking at saying, hey, can I make a trade? Can I get a 4th or 5th round draft pick for some of these guys? And start looking at it from a rebuilding each year, or reloading, I should say, each year through the draft, and keeping a young team and getting people that are decent backups. So when you do lose somebody, you've got somebody there ready to step in. That's the only way you can do a next man up. You can't go from a guy who's a 10 to a guy who's a 4. And that's what we're trying to do. So, who's the first to go? Hopefully it's the coaches. Hopefully, come the day after the regular season ends, we're saying, Bye-bye to Jason Garrett and crew. Cowboys Forum. We thank you, man. I'm glad you guys liked the wings at the stadium. I wish they had brought us some luck. I actually tried something different because normally I'm cooking them right then and there at the stadium, but you can't bring, do oil and you can't cook oil at that stadium. So I actually cooked them all, had them cold, and then put them in that big pot of the hot sauce and the butter and stuff in there. And it seems like with them being cold originally, it's like they grabbed a hold of that sauce, and it just really were really flavorful. So I think that's the new way we'll be doing them for the future. Um, well, Roy, Dak. Here's the thing. Coaching has a lot to do with that because you have to take a coach. A good coach will take a guy, even though he may not fit the system of that he wants to do, will find out what are his strengths and weaknesses and use those things. But you don't see that kind of stuff with Jason Garrett. When Tony Romo went down in 2014, he tried to make Brandon Wheaton Tony Romo and then tried to do the same thing with Matt Castle. Those two guys didn't have the skills that Tony Romo had, and so hence we only won one game with those guys starting. You've got to be able to adapt. When you look at a guy like Joe Gibbs, Joe Gibbs came from San Diego, Air Coryell, a team that very rarely ran the ball. They were always throwing deep, Charlie Joyner. I mean, they were the original first team that really just passed the ball all the time. When he got to Washington, he tried that offense with Joe Theismann, first 5 games of the season, and it didn't work. But he realized, you know what? I've got a great running back in John Riggins. I got some offensive linemen that can run the ball. Maybe I need to work with what I have right now till I can get what I want to do it the way I need to. Came up with the single back. And ran the hell out of John Riggins. Hence, the Hogs are born, and 3 Super Bowl later, he's a Hall of Famer. That's adapting to what you've got. Dak Prescott passes better on the move, better with play action, has legs. You put him in a position to win. You can't just say, this is my system, this is what you're going to do, and that's the only thing we're going to do. Forget what you're good at. Sorry, that goes back to coaching, guys. To me, Jason Garrett is just not a good coach. And hence, you can go ahead, all you guys are out there saying, Dak Prescott is not shit. Dak Prescott's the problem. There's problems all across the board on this team, more than just Dak Prescott. I'm not saying Dak Prescott, the last 3 games, has played great because he hasn't. Nobody on that team has. And it starts from the top down. If you're the owner of a company, I know they don't go talk to Michael if he screws up at the job. They come talk to me. Because everything that goes on below me with my company, I'm the responsible one. If he's not doing the job right, guess what? It's my place as the man in charge, as the coach, as the owner, to say, this is the way it's going to be done. This is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to be successful. And that ain't happening. And so with that note, we have been on I'm naked, troll. I'm naked, bros. Okay, I'm glad you're naked. I'm not sure I want to know why, but okay. Josh McDaniels. I'm not sure about Josh McDaniels. Linehan has been a coach, and no, I don't want Linehan. Listen, here's the thing. We've been through this thing of fire some of the guys. We got rid of Wade and kept Jason, okay? Fuck that, okay? Start over. New philosophy, new guys. Clean the slate. Start all over. Don't start the Scott Linehan for coach because Scott Linehan's calling the damn plays. Yeah, well, Jerry Jones ain't going anywhere. Odds of Jim Harbaugh. Well, you know what? A lot of people say that a lot of coaches won't want to coach under Jerry Jones. If Jerry Jones pays enough money, you can put up with anything. So we'll have to wait and see. But on that note, guys, it's almost 10:30. I messed up on some of the stuff. Gay dude in here, Lord. Okay. um, we got a lot to work on. We have no game on Sunday. We'll be watching. Shit, what will we be watching? The Giants have already played. The Redskins have already played. We've already played. Shit. Is there any point to watching football? We know the Eagles, well, they've already won the division pretty much, so hats off to you guys. And it is what it is. We'll have to see what we see and hope for the best. Expect the worst, and you'll never be disappointed. I'm Mark Holmes. This is Joe Boo getting lit. And I want to thank each and every one of you guys for still showing up after our Cowboys got their ass handed to them yesterday. Don't worry, guys. Better days are ahead. Believe me, better days are ahead. I promise. So with that being said, I'll see you guys on Monday night.